wonder if they'll end up doing a female one ever or not. I feel like you're basically not allowed to. It's absolutely fine to be judging the dudes though. Let's take a look.
See particular body type on the internet or in the media, and I know that like I want that, so I work for that.
Like when you see on social media and stuff, it's just kind of like very glamorized.
Growing up, I thought like, okay, if I want to be attractive, I have to have a six-pack.
So I feel like I would be ranked last just because I don't really fit that type of standard.
I mean, you just get a bunch of like random dudes in a room and be like, just go out in your underwear. You expect it to be really weird and awkward.
For this episode, we're actually going to reveal the audience ranking first.
Okay, surprise, surprise.
And this is how the world has voted.
Okay, never mind. All right. So maybe the voting was like a nice anonymous voting thing, and this is pretty much what I would expect. Clearly in the best shape, also takes care of himself, but isn't super, you know, muscular and strong looking. Just a thin in shape guy, and then the out of shape guys. All right, makes sense.
We're looking at just physicality, not even knowing our personalities or who we are. Of course, we're gonna have, you know, sexy six-pack over here,
yes,
and,
of course,
you know, me over here. Why not? I think Latinos are
It's literally whose body is the most attractive, not who is overall the most attractive person, taking personality into account. It's whose body.
Sexy, so I don't get why we're over here. Come on, guys, but I respect this. I like it. How do y'all feel?
I guess the audience has voted. I was expected to be probably more down the line, maybe like 3 or 4. Growing up, I was always like, you know, told like, hey man, you look like a twig or you're very skinny.
I feel like it's pretty okay to feel comfortable when you're the
Well, yeah, but then this dude's even skinnier than you. And these guys are just straight up like in really bad shape, right? So it makes sense that you're where you're at, man. You know, take it, you know, take the compliment.
Slut though, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Growing up younger or whatever, maybe you're getting teased, but in the world of adults, if you're just not fat, you're ahead of the pack, man. That's all it takes. The bar is so low right now. All you have to do is not be obese, and you're up there. You're ahead of the pack.
Oh no, this is fine. I'm the second hottest in the room. I guess I'm okay with it.
I think it makes sense for the way that like I think people generally view the world just based on like what you see in the media, social media, whatever. Do I think that it makes sense for anyone?
Yeah, this wasn't model agencies though. This is just normal people voting. And modeling agencies do not choose based on what just like people find attractive. They choose based on like what the clothes will look good on and this type of shit. Generally, it's pretty well known that modeling standards are not the same as like normal people standards for attractiveness. For example, female models, usually way too thin, even though like I don't like obese overweight or anything like that, right? Models are usually like anorexic levels of thin. They don't have a lot of curves a lot of time, right? They don't have the muscular legs and ass that would make clothing a little bit more difficult to fit and whatnot, which is what I'm super into, right? And probably not even your ideal standard either, considering you're always throwing in things like the woman should have some nice grip strength and whatnot, right?
As an individual?
Yeah, exactly. They tend to look kind of malnourished.
I'm not shocked because, I mean, when I was younger growing up, that's exactly the body type that I wanted to look like. My whole life, I like compared myself to that. So
right.
I think
he has the dude with the fit bod that they're showing, right?
That's exactly the body type that I wanted to look like. My whole life,
he has probably what would be considered like for normal people, what they would consider kind of like the top, right? Because normal people also aren't really into straight up bodybuilders that are like hyper muscular as fucking veins bulging everywhere, next level shredded. He has probably what your average person would consider an ideal male physique.
I like compare myself to that. So I think it's expected. So I'm not like surprised.
One of the things I appreciate when they do these kinds of stuff with men is that the men are always so much more honest than the women, right? They've done shit like this, like a rate of the attractiveness of women, and they didn't directly specify like by body or whatever, right? But the women come in and they bring in so much bullshit talking about you're so nice and you're this and that, and they end up like putting the fattest girl in the #1 position and stuff, just trying to be overly like PC culture, you know?
But I did have a little bit more hope.
Whereas the dude's like, I mean, yeah, I basically wanted your physique, so what am I gonna say? I want to look like that.
You guys, and as you're talking, feel free to move each other around as much as you want.
How do you feel about being like in the middle? Do you feel like you should be farther ahead.
Actually, I was shocked because growing up and stuff, like my mom always told me that like, you know, you'd be more attractive if you gain a little bit more weight. That's why like I thought that
That's really weird that I don't know what it's like to live in a family where the family members like judge things like your overall appearance and stuff, right? I've heard a lot of kind of weird stuff like that, people getting stuff like that from their family. I never had any kind of weird shit like that. I guess I'm pretty lucky in that regard. I come from a family where like the family is just supportive, and they're not overly judgmental about like weird shit that doesn't matter. My family maybe is like supportive to almost to a fault.
we laugh just because that society probably just thinks that skinny guys don't deserve love, but I feel like they do though.
We do. We love you.
When I
I'm
was
the one in
trying
my
to
family
avoid
that's hard on me.
myself to, like,
And then my
be
family's like, yo, chill
older
out,
and
don't be so
attractive
hard.
Men that had abs and that had chests. I didn't even know like what I was watching, but I was kind of like just intrigued that I wanted to be that.
All right,
already.
man.
Like for me, I'm not sure how old everyone is, but you know, I grew up in the whole like Abercrombie and Fitch era. Like you walk in, it's like six-pack abs like on the wall.
He knew, and he was like, all right, well, that's what I got to go for, right? That's what I got to look like. You know, there's a meme on this, on like the dudes versus women with like, you know, attractiveness, physical standards. And, you know, they'll joke that like the women, they see the, you know, the other woman who's like on the magazine cover or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, this is bullshit, unrealistic beauty standards. And like, then, you know, the bottom meme is like the Chad face looking at the dudes from like an anime or some random shit. And the thought that comes out of their mind is like, oh, I got to go to the gym right now. I got to start pumping iron so I can look like this, rather than like, oh my God, it's not fair.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like that motivated me. Like, I wanted that growing up. Do you, any of you guys think it's wrong?
It's his was maybe the Abercrombie and Fitch models or whatever. It's no different than me watching like Rambo, Terminator, and Hulk. And then, you know, one day when I'm like 19 looking in the mirror and be like, bro, you wanted to be like the Hulk and Rambo. What are we doing here? It's time to get in the fucking gym. Let's go. And I've never stopped training since.
Wrong to want to look like another body type?
Yes, because I feel I had a similar, you know, thing to you where I used to be, you know, roughly like 110 pounds bigger, and I remember people treating me a certain way. Dating was very tough. People didn't want to, you know, date the type I was. And then I lose all this weight, and I start getting
Okay, so he's on a journey. He's been losing weight. He was up more, looking more like this guy.
treated differently. And it really showed me like I was the same person, and I wanted so bad to look like a certain type and lose a certain amount of weight.
You're not the same person, though. You're not. The character traits and the choices and decisions you make that lead to looking like this, that is part of like who you are. Your brain is the thing that makes the decisions and choices, whether you're going to eat that extra cheeseburger or whether you're going to go for a walk. These things impact like your actual, it's literally like an expression of your character and the type of person that you are.
But at the end of the day, like I was like, I almost kind of hate the way society's treating me as a smaller person.
Well, that's definitely an interesting answer. But
Weird.
me personally, like if I were to answer that question, I think it's fine to want a certain body type, because for me, I just use it as fuel, like motivation. Like I'm just gonna try to drive as much as I can to get to that point.
I think for me, it's like there's a difference between it being like a motivator, something you love, something you're passionate about, and something that can like deeply consume you into like a dark hole. And it's going.
That's very true, though. Very true, also. Very true, also. The bodybuilders video that they've done, which I wonder, man, if we get more people in and people are really interested in the topic, we can watch it and go through it again. Even though I've already watched the whole thing and I have like a reaction thing I did to it at the very beginning of my starting to do all of this content creation stuff on my other channel. But it is very interesting. There is some pretty deep like mental side effect negative things that come along with getting to that level of the bodybuilding and how consumed and obsessive you tend to become. And then also the competition levels of leanness you get to, right? There's a girl in that episode she's in great shape. She's attractive, good looking girl. And she talks about how she feels uncomfortable like right now. And she basically feels fat because the difference, like I'm fat to a bodybuilder. Like if you're talking bodybuilder, I'm fucking fat. Right? Like that's how crazy actual bodybuilding standards is, like physique competition.
into that dark hole where like check yourself.
So as a group, do you guys ever like get any like criticism, or is it a lot of like self-criticism? Because sometimes your own thoughts can like sabotage you.
I think a lot of it for me is self-criticism. Like I know
Oh, I
I'm
have the chat
over
off.
here, but like when I look in the mirror, I still see like 5 things, 10 things I don't like about myself and that I still want to change about myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of it really is self-imposed, definitely influenced by the people around you. So I still have work to do myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like that's always gonna be there.
Yeah.
But also surrounding yourself with individuals who like want the best for you is also good.
After I work out, so I'm like, wow, I look like the sexiest, hottest person on this earth right now. Like, I could like really.
Dude, this is a good point here. Exercise is so good for your self-confidence and your state of mind. But also there's that little bit of like when you have a pump in the gym, right? And you look like really good and you're like, God, I wish I could look like this, how I look with the pump all the fucking time.
Date myself if I want to, but then I'm not gonna just because like I would want to give other people the chance. But then like
This guy in first position.
but then like when I look back on it, like sometimes I do like have like my low days where I'm like I look like the trashiest rat in the garbage.
For me personally, a lot of like my criticism was like projected by other people. I was plus size my whole life, so I would get made fun of in like elementary and stuff like that. They would call me like Ariel the Little Big Mermaid and stuff like that. Oh, like this kid smells, or like this kid somebody farted. It was
Okay, well, I don't know how. Well, I'm always scared to say things that they're going to cross the line and someone's going to say it's like, you know, saying things that you're not supposed to say in bullying or whatever. But a lot of times when people are significantly obese, right? We're not just talking people that are just a bit overweight, but when you get significantly obese, the smell thing a lot of times is real. It's not people making fun and talking shit and cracking a joke. It can be real. It can be real. I've definitely experienced people that were so obese that they must have had struggles reaching areas and when they shower, or maybe they, right? Again, you don't get that way if you're not being lazy, and then maybe there's even skipping showers. Who knows like what's going on? But I've definitely experienced where the smell is real and it's not people just bullying.
definitely this kid. Like I think I carried that a lot throughout my life, and like I definitely want to like get healthy. But it's no longer about like being a certain body type. And you know, when I lost 120 pounds, the first thing, one of my idols, like somebody that I really idolized in my life, the first thing that I heard is like, oh, you looked better when you were fatter. So it's like you can never please anybody.
Oh yeah. But the people, oh man, I feel so bad for him. There's such a toxic thing that goes on with people. Like, you're not helping people when you tell them that like they're fine the way they were or they looked better when they're fat. It's like, even if you actually believe that, which I don't think people do, I think it's like a weakness thing people do because a lot of people struggle to watch other people self-improve, because when other people are self-improving and you're not self-improving, it makes you feel extra lazy and you can get like more feelings of shame and all this stuff going on, right? So that's why even myself, when I was first getting in shape, people would literally bring like fresh donuts, right? And like pizza and stuff by my desk and wave them under like my nose and try to get me to eat them, you know? Could you define helping? Which sentence are you referring to? Because I just went on kind of like a decent bit of like a little ramble there. So which exact like sentence or statement are you picking out for define helping?
So you just gotta like, yeah, you just gotta live for yourself and like do what makes you happy and however you feel best.
Oh, talking about this where you're not helping. Okay, I think that this, right, where the person was saying like you look better the other way or whatever. Yeah, like you're not right. It's not compassionate. It's not helping people to tell them this, right? Because like you say, even if you have some kind of warped perspective on what's attractive and you think people do actually look better when they're obese, you know it's not better for their health though, right? You fucking know it's not. So telling them that is like, it's kind of like damaging them, right? It's sort of almost like the fake news thing and the damaging fake news we talk about. Like, in my opinion, one of the very damaging versions of fake news that exists in society right now is healthy at any size. It's incredibly damaging. They literally are printing this shit on like magazine fucking covers, you know? And it's very damaging. It's not. Like, being obese is one of the most damaging things for your health that there fucking is. So like telling people they look better when they're obese, you're not fucking helping them. You're actively sabotaging them, right? Because everyone's always looking for an out. Exercise and changing your lifestyle and getting in shape is hard. And if you're doing it mostly for like, you know, a lot of people start it for physical appearance reasons, not necessarily health reasons. It's better if your driving force is health, right? but it's not what gets everyone to do it, right? A lot of times it is just the shame in how they look and whatnot. And if you throw in like comments like that, you could very easily discourage them, right? Like people struggle a lot with this willpower and discipline to get things started. It can be incredibly damaging.
Just a model. So.
I'm very open to being placed.
Like imagine that you just put in a bunch of effort. Sorry, I have to pause Andy it again. But imagine you just put in a bunch of effort and you started getting in shape and you've lost your first 30 pounds or whatever, right? Which you've got a lot of way to go if you're here. And you're making all this sacrifice and you're miserable. And then someone comes along and tells you like, I thought you looked better when you were even bigger anyway. That could be like that one little thing that's enough for you to just be like, you know what? All right, cool, fine. I suck. I'm miserable doing all this shit anyway. And if people think I look better the other way, then like, why would I keep trying to improve my health? And you know, like when again, the health is the part where it's damaging, because even if you do actually prefer the look, it's very damaging to their health.
I don't know which side to go on, so I might as well just put myself in position 3, just be in the middle maybe.
If we're ranking each other in terms of attractiveness, I'm gonna go with the people who I feel energy-wise, who I think I'd be most attractive to in like a...
What? So he's gonna go with like the girl? He's gonna pretend he's a girl for a minute here. Be like, I'm gonna go like off energy, all right? Even though the title is literally like whose body is the most attractive, we're gonna feed off the energy, and like I think my energy is probably actually more attractive.
Hangout scenario.
There you go.
Like, who can I vibe? And he's like, I don't know if we can hang.
That's
we were
not-
talking earlier. We were talking earlier. So I'd put you guys more ahead, because I think in a friendship I'd be like more attracted to like go to beer with you guys, hang out.
Yeah, we could talk about the psychology behind the whole idea of like a dad bod. But here's the deal. This isn't what dad bod was originally supposed to be. If you want to talk about the original definition of what dad bod is, it's what I look like. It's someone who's like obviously trained. They have the big strong thing going on, but they don't look obsessed to the level of counting every single calorie that goes in their mouth and such, right? That's what the original dad bod was supposed to be. But it went on and it started to become just like what happened to thick and everything else now, where people are now saying that the dad bod is this or the dad bod is this. But if you look up like the definition, can we find out the definition of the dad bod? Like there was an actual thing, and it wasn't supposed to be like this, right? It was originally supposed to be, do they put it here? The phrase has been adopted in U.S. culture to refer to a male who was once particularly lean or fit, but over time, that's not what it was originally either. They literally have changed what this shit was. None of this is what it originally was. The original dad bod thing was someone who obviously looked like they lifted weights. They were big and strong, but they didn't look like they were disciplined to the level of bodybuilding and obsessing over every calorie. So think like strongman competitor versus bodybuilder. That's what it originally was. It's crazy how the definition, yeah, strongman. So it's crazy how the definition on like everything around physical appearance slowly, especially in like the American culture and probably all the Western like developed cultures, they're perverted and changed over time to mean something else. Thick means something different now. Dad bod means something totally different now.
You seem really cool, but I think I put you at 3.
All right, I'm good with that.
And then I am not in college anymore, and I don't remember what that was like. I don't know if we could have a ton of stuff to get along with, but I would put you at 4, and I hate hanging out alone, so I'm going to 5.
Oh, this is tough. Eric, I think you're an awesome dude. I definitely think you should be over here. You've been like open and warm.
This is
and,
so-
like, fun, bro.
Oh my
What spot
gosh.
would you put me into, though? Who are you switching?
Amari, I think you've been in the first position for a while.
I'm more than happy to.
That's your number 1.
Oh my God.
That's your number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so the 2 out of shape guys so far are literally completely going off the script on how they're supposed to be ranking, and they're full blown just like ranking based on energy.
I guess happy that's good. And then one more. All right.
Why do they keep talking about personality? Yes, Pettigrew. Yes, it's supposed to be based on physical appearance. But they're doing the same thing that the girls always do. Every time there's one of these attractive... We can watch one of the ones with the girls next if you want to fucking see how crazy the girls are. The girls do that from the fucking start the whole time, though, right? Where it's all like, oh my God, the energy, and you're so like adorable, you're so nice, oh my God.
What's out for you? Oh, this is weird.
Talking like non-physically, I think personality-wise, there are definitely people in this group that.
But it's not the whole. That's not what it's supposed to be. They just chose to change it because they didn't like where they were, right? And so they chose to change it. But it's not supposed to be personality based at all.
Much more, open and outgoing in a way that like I wish that I could be. A lot of my confidence is rooted in my physical appearance, and I will be very honest with that. But I'm actually gonna go to a 3. Avi, I think I will put.
This is so weird, dude. Every time people have to rate themselves.
And then Ariel at a 4.
Yeah, I agree, Pettigrew. They are interesting.
I feel like I'm more like laid back and reserved, and like I don't really like take the initiative as much, and I don't really kind of like show my personality like to kind of like random people. Avi, I put you as 4 just because your number 4 is just your vibe, your spot here.
Wow, that's his vibe. Yo, what up, Curry? How's it going, man?
I would actually have Omari be 3. Just because like you kind of feel like the neutral stance of like being like introvert but also extrovert too. But also because like you kind of stand the ground between the skinnies and also the thickies as well.
The skinnies and the thickies. All right.
I would actually put Ariel at number 2. Eric, you're number 1 just because like you embrace like your body no matter like what anyone else thinks. And I feel like that's the type of like mentality I want to have no matter what.
I loved that. That was beautiful. That was great. I feel so warm.
Of course you love that, dude. He put you in number 1, even though like you're totally out of shape. Of course you fucking love it.
Okay, are you guys happy with this or make any last changes?
I'm stoked about this.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm totally okay with this lineup. I won't say no.
This is fucking funny, dude. It's so funny, dude. It's literally, again, right? Attractive body type. It wasn't supposed to be based on personality at all. It was supposed to be 0% about that. It was supposed to be attractive body type. That's it. When they say talk to each other, they just mean talk amongst yourselves, and now you do your own ranking and put yourselves in like where you want to put. It doesn't mean talk, figure out the personality, and then now change the ranking and do the ranking based on personality. This is what happens like in every one of these though. They never, I don't think there's been a single one of these attractiveness ones where they stuck to actually just voting on attractiveness. Every fucking time, people have to get way too PC with it, right? They're like afraid to just be honest and stick to the attractiveness scale.
Based off of like...
But the audience, right? The audience was like anonymous voting online. So the audience did the exact order that I would expect. This is exactly how I would put them if I was to put them in order.
Based off of like how well I got to know each and every one of them, in that sense, I do feel like it was a good fit. I don't know. It's hard.
I acknowledge that attractiveness isn't only physical. A lot of it has to do with personality, how you interact with
Except the scale literally said body attractiveness.
other people, how you make them feel. I know that there are things that I want to work on.
Vanda wants to see the booties.
At a 3, but then there are other people who I felt outshine me.
So I think the most beautiful thing is just, it's your uniqueness. So just own it. This is what you have. This is what you have to work with. And there's nobody else like you.
Not necessarily true. Not true at all. You can absolutely change this. It's not just what you're stuck with and what you have to work with. You can change it. I know. I used to be obese, man. Okay? I used to have titties. I know what I'm talking about here. You're not stuck with it. It's okay, though.